It's a rainy day today. This morning we have our area cleanup day. Not sure if they're gonna cancel it or not, but regardless, get ready. And what I want to do today is walk around the house and talk about features that are, I guess, nice to have that you really don't know until you buy it. At least in my opinion, that's what happened to me. So what I would like to do is point out some different things throughout the property that after the fact, I realized that, wow, that was really nice to have. So if you are in search of an Akiya or a house in the countryside of Japan, or anywhere for that matter, things to look for from an unprofessional, untrained point of view, such as me. So yesterday, both my wife and I made a mistake. We went there bright and early for the cleanup, and we're sitting there and no one there, but it's raining. So, oh, maybe they canceled because it's raining. No, it was today. So anyways, let's go do this today. I've been working on the garage this whole weekend. Let's go ahead and walk through here real quick. I know it's a big mess, but we're getting there. I've been working on it quite a bit. My goal is to finish this up. Hopefully it makes it into some sort of video someday, but spent a good amount of time yesterday working on the chop saw working area. This little foldable table right here. This is like for an extra support. These were here for extra support this way. Made a little dust collector box right here, and this nice and easy. Put up the fan. Been putting up some of my old memorabilia here, stuff that I've been lugging around the world. Power strip, nice little bench on top, and then made a little space for my tool chest. And then next I need to keep on working on all this mess right here. Eventually we'll get all organized and going through all this stuff right here. But this is stuff that I've been lugging for years and years, and finally, hopefully they're gonna find themselves a good home. And yeah, so this garage came along with the house, the former vacant house, also known as Akiya. And in this video, as I'm talking about, things to look for when you are looking for a house that you may not realize that you have, or they're there, but because it's so overwhelming, everything that comes along with the property, especially in the countryside, you may not realize it. But this house came with this really nice garage. I have since put all this paneling around it and this shelving system, but mainly the paneling is so that I could do stuff like this. I could have still used the studs, and then the French cleats, and then also so that I can repurpose all this wood right here. These boards were actually under the tatami from the house, so I kept all of that. Some of them are new, like these right here. These are new, but for the most part, these boards, all this, you still see the nails, came from the house. And there was no electricity, no electric garage doors, and also it did not have a gutter. But other than that, it was really, really nice garage. As you can see, nice concreted, very well built, huge support beams, rafters. So yeah, this is a great plus that you should look for. I have no idea, but probably in the state it was, probably to construct something like this, I would say maybe $40,000 US. Who knows? All right, so let me load up the stuff and get ready to go help out. We're gonna be cleaning around the shrine, and then after that I need to come back home, do some more work, and get some cilantro in the garden. All right, let's do this. Back in there is where our little shrine is at for this community, let's say. And we're going to be cleaning up in that area. Hi. その木もらいに。木あそこの上に木があった。
本郷抜けるところの道のとこ多分木切ってあるはずなんです。
はい。
行く？
今から？
今から。
今から？はい。今時間ある？大丈夫？はい。はい。今行きます。私の慶長で。はい。はい。Alright, so we finished doing this here. I'm gonna take this to the truck. But yeah, so we just finished cleaning up over here all together, everyone together. Now I'm gonna go with my neighbor to look at the pile of wood that he has. He's going to give to me. It's actually, I think, it's a relative of his. But yeah, the whole neighborhood got together here and did a quick cleanup. Probably took about an hour or so. But that's something that you have to do every so often. All right, so I'm gonna go over there and check on the wood. That he said there's a pile of wood that I can have. So my neighbor and I, we came over here. I don't think I'm gonna get that wood from over here. We're like way up in the mountains. And he disappeared on me. I gotta go find him. I don't know where he went. That goes back down to the road. Okay, he's probably down there looking for me. Oh shit. Won't slip. Oh, okay. There's that road. I don't know if he went up that way or back this way. The truck is this way. I think he's honking my horn. We're both going around in circles looking for each other. Okay. Well, it's about noon and I still have not been able to get around to start working on the cilantro garden and talk about the things to look for when you're buying a house, but I'll get to it. But right now, before it gets too late, I'm going to run over to Wade's place. So Wade is another fellow American here in town that this is his first year planting rice, and he's building a beautiful home here starting soon. And so he's harvesting his rice, and for now he has a refrigerator in my garage to keep his rice. And I'm not sure if he started bringing it over because I've been busy myself too. Yeah, but he came over and turned it on. There's a big old thing right here. And yeah, so there it is. Big refrigerator specifically for rice. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be bringing it over, but I'm going to go over there, give him a hand, and maybe do a little filming as well. But we will also be covering the construction of his house as it takes place here in the next couple months. So stay tuned for that. Follow that, please. Next year we're going to do a rice planting series from the beginning, hopefully. Right now it's just been hectic for me and for him, trying to keep up with everything. So we have not been able to get our schedules in sync. And I'm running around looking for a hat because I am bald and my head will burn. All right, but yeah, let's go ahead and head on over there, and then I will, before the end of this video, I will get around to talking about certain features around the house. So we're near his property down the road, but it looks like there's a TV crew and everything over there that they've been documenting his journey. And looks like this is where they're processing the rice, but I'm just gonna go check them out.
半分です。頑張りましょう。
So you got all this today?
今からこれ冷蔵庫
You got so you did the 68 bags total.
68 bags. And you got about this much more? Now this is for your personal consumption, right?
Yeah, this is going in the fridge.
Cool. All right. Let's go. So the gentleman and his wife, they harvest a bunch of rice right here. They're doing it all together. Really nice couple. And I think they're going to be doing it again next week. So I asked if I can film and they said yes. So right now I didn't want to show their faces and their operation a whole lot because it was just kind of very quickly impromptu and not much notice. But yeah, that's really cool. We're gonna check him out. And he's an engineer. I'm not quite sure. He works for Eneos. So probably petroleum engineer. I'm not really sure, but let's go there, help Wade take the stuff to the house. Bye-bye. Thank you. Yeah, so a lot of the farmers are harvesting their rice right now, to include Wade. But look at this, all this beautiful higamba now, the spider lilies. And it has been raining. Yesterday it rained quite a bit, so a lot of people are waiting for it to dry up a little bit more. So right now we're just driving by his place where he's been clearing out to build his house. But we'll be covering that soon, as I said. A lot of lessons learned on his end as well, as far as building the house from scratch. And hopefully we can cover some of those lessons learned on his end when we do the series on the build of his house. All right, so let's go ahead and walk around the property. And like I was saying, I want to go ahead and point out some of the things that, quite frankly, for me, after the fact, I did not realize the really the value of it, or how handy it was to have it here. Because when we looked at this house, when we're looking for a house, we're mainly focused on the house. We didn't think about the garage. We didn't think about the little guest house, the little storage unit that's next to it. Heck, even the Japanese garden, all that stuff was covered or just overwhelming. But after the fact, then I started realizing, if I were to build a house like this, all either little by little or whatever the case may be, it would be much, much more, right? So, and quite frankly, do you have the budget to do it at the time or afterwards? Because many times we say, yeah, I'll get to building a garage or this and that, or putting up a fence. We'll see here in a minute. Many times you don't get to it. Also, trees. We have lots of trees. I have fig, kiwi, some cherries, persimmon, chestnut. those type of trees obviously take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get to a point to where they producing any kind of fruit or anything like that. So those are kind of things that the pros and cons. If you're looking for a place, if you're looking for a very maintenance-free house in the city, and I'm focusing more in Japan, where literally, like when I lived in Iwakuni in town, my neighbor was literally about a meter away from my house. You know, that's how many of the houses are in the city, or even the smaller town. Itty bitty little windows that you could barely see through just to let in some sort of light. So those are some of the pros and cons that you may encounter. But yeah, let's go ahead and walk around, show you guys around. If you have been tuning in before, you understand, or you have probably seen what the house looks like inside now. But if you have not, if this is your first time tuning in, check out some of the videos in the description below. I have I think it's like 3 different descriptions of different videos of the process, the cost, and also kind of what I do for a living and how you could go about finding a job as well. Some of those are the main videos, but other than that, you know, we just like to share our life here in the countryside of Japan, and also traveling. Like we just came back from Hokkaido about a month ago. We traveled around for 2 weeks in our campervan, which is really, really cool. But yeah, so let's go ahead and walk around, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and clean up my garden and plant some cilantro, and start preparing for maybe some winter vegetables. All right, let's do this. So I talked about the garage earlier. I think I pretty much covered that. But one of the things that I never really paid much attention to before is this really gorgeous, quite frankly, in my opinion, impressive retaining wall. If this was to be built by me, or not by me, but I paid someone to do it, probably thousands and thousands of dollars probably to do this. And this one is not. I would say it's probably at least 50 years old. Probably longer, because the house is at least 50 years old. But really nice stones, and they all fit in there nicely. Really nice, beautiful wall that wraps around it. I think one place over there's a crack, but that's about it. And I really didn't pay much attention to it when we bought the house. You saw this was full of grass and everything. And from right here, we can see what we call the casita, or a guest house right here. If you see on the back end right there, this is an addition that we put onto it, but someone actually stayed in there before, because there was a little, like an outhouse bathroom and a little tatami. So I don't know the history behind it, but someone did stay in there temporarily. There was electricity and running water. So now we turned it into a really nice guest house. But so again, something like that would cost you, I'm just throwing numbers out there, but I'm saying good 30,000 in the state in which we have it, because we have a shower, and it's all insulated, double pane windows. Right here, this is what I call my man cave. We'll walk around there in a minute. It's just kind of a storage unit, you know, center blocks, as you can see. But also, one other thing that I didn't really appreciate before was really this beautiful what do you call it, shingles. Really nice and sturdy, and they are, I wouldn't say waterproof, but they're very, very strong. And when we were doing the renovation, and it was all bare bones, when it would rain really hard, I would come here intentionally just to come and observe, and there was absolutely no leaks whatsoever, which was really nice. This retaining wall continues along this way. You can see my big mess of wood, which little by little I am relocating to the woodshed over here to my right, which does not belong to us, but we are borrowing it or renting it. But like I mentioned, this is a really nice cherry tree, fig trees, persimmons, plum, another fig tree, more persimmons, a kiwi tree which I cut down as well. So if your goal is to grow some fruit trees or something like that, again, this is years in the making, you know, so something for you to consider if you're starting from scratch. And I really did not appreciate this particular spot, and this is one of my favorite spots in the house, well, I should say the property, because right now it's nice and pretty. It needs to be mowed one last time. It's October, so probably one last time, but really nice, beautiful area. It's kind of my little chill out place. But it was just full of weeds and everything. Let me see if I can, ooh yeah, look at this. Take this with me. Also, something that you should look for that you may not appreciate is your surroundings, right? So unfortunately, in the countryside of Japan, it's aging population, and we're talking about the vacant houses. So the gentleman that owns this one right here, he let us borrow it, and it just came for free, other than I committed myself to maintaining it. But this is a really nice shed. Wade was over earlier, and he keeps mentioning how jealous he is. And again, I looked at that thing for about 2-3 years, and I finally decided to find out how we can borrow it. And awesome for my wood. Another thing is like this fence right here. Again, things that you just don't think about, but very well built. I mean, folks, this is not cheap. And I'm assuming that the previous owner put this up. I really don't think the city did this. If I'm mistaken, someone please correct me if you know better, but I really don't think so. Unfortunately, I don't know who owns this, if it's city property or what, but as you can see, the weeds will grow over it, and we jump over there, and we maintain it as well, just to keep. But all this kuzu, it would be over here if we weren't taking care of it. But yeah, so this fence, again, very well made, put together, that I'm sure it would cost thousands of dollars to do something like this. And when you're in the process of building your house, is stuff that you just don't think about, right? Hell, one thing that we did spend a good amount of money ourselves is this terracing. And I'll tell you, I got the cost estimate to do the terracing right here, and I had a sticker shock. I'm not going to lie. If I remember correctly, it was good 15,000 US dollars. And you know why? It was to get rid of the dirt, the labor, obviously, the machinery, but it was getting rid of the dirt. And it was trucks and trucks and trucks. You know, just imagine all this was shaved out, and then the other side. But this is to make our life easier in the future. I think that was an investment that I think is going to be well worth it. All this was flattened out as well. Oh, so I planted some, I sprayed some seed earlier, Bermuda seed. I'm assuming this is Bermuda. I'm not an expert at grass. Folks, let me know if you know. But it looks really nice. And so we have here 3 chestnut trees. Really beautiful. I'm assuming they're at least 10 years old, at least. And I was talking to the neighbor today, and we're talking about how they need to be pruned. And yeah, I need to cut them down, but we have so much other work that I just didn't have the opportunity to get to them yet. But here shortly, we're gonna be picking up some chestnuts. And the property goes all along past that way, but again, still showing some more of the terracing that we did, so you could get an idea and appreciation for the amount of money that we paid to have it cleared up. But the point is that someday, hopefully soon, I'll get like a riding lawnmower. Before it was futile because there are so many obstacles, lots of other trees right here that we had removed, all kinds of other concrete obstacles here. But now we are at the point to where I can bring a riding lawnmower up this way or up this way and all around. So it's getting better. But again, folks, that costs money. A renovation of this style house right here, built in the 50s. No, I'm sorry, 50 years old or so, built in 1976 if I remember correctly. You know, older style house, no insulation, no double pane windows, I should say. Very compartmentalized type of style house. And so we did a pretty good extensive renovation. And just to let you know, I mean, it was over a couple $100,000 to do it, but a lot of that was by choice, as I've mentioned before. But neighbor, this is an addition that we put in the sunroom and the laundry room, but that is something that you normally won't have. But one thing I wanted to cover is something that you may not also appreciate is this French drainage. I've been to other houses and they don't have that. It's straight up just splashing up against the house. And fortunately we did have gutters here, and these are new, but this drainage system is quite impressive, even though it's very close to the house now because of this extension. And I need to clean it out and fix some cracks, but it goes all the way out and all along here. See, and also from the house down this system right here and off to the street or wherever it goes. Not to the street, but it just goes away into wherever the city's system has it going to. So that is something that, again, I just did not realize, and yes, I do have a mess I need to clean up over there. We did have some damaged gutters and actually you can see a little bent right there, and that they were splashing, and probably I think we need to do a better job with that. But it seems like here and the other side, this gutter was too small, or I should say it is too small for the amount of water that comes down. So many times it's splashing out. So this is probably something that we should change into a bigger gutter, and which, you know, also could cause wood damage, right? A Japanese garden, if that is something that you want. Again, folks, if anyone has an idea how much it would cost to build something like this, but like these stones, again, not cheap at all. This lantern, not cheap at all, and it was all part of the house. That brass bell over there, not part of the house. I put that up there, that's all me. All this originally was a pond, but it was filled by the previous people all the way. I wanted some sort of water, but I didn't want it the whole thing full of water. I wanted some flowers, and I've been trying to get to a video of how this has been evolving, but hopefully I'll get to it soon. But I did have a little water system going on there with a little pump. If you're curious how I did it, I'll show you real quick. So it's connected to the hose, to the regular hose, and then the float valve right there, and it stops as needed, and then there's a pump This is for to make mochi. I can't remember the name, but the water is very cheap here, so I'm not that worried about it. But this little waterfall came along with it. I put those rocks, those stones in there, but I got it going. I've talked about it before, where I want to make a shishiodoshi. Still, I'm gonna get to that, and basically where the bamboo will collapse. You know, something that we did not have before, and they're still working on, is this weeping plum tree. And I was noticing, look at the beautiful how it's weeping. I think it's going to be really nice once it grows. Hopefully it doesn't get too big on us. But this was here before, so all these beautiful stones. This really nice, gorgeous. All these, they were here before, but it was so full of bushes and weeds that, quite frankly, you really couldn't see it. But once we unearthed it, this is what we have. Really nice, isn't it? Talking about the guest house. See, this is a little guest house. I'll peek in there real quick. No, never mind. I have a mess from the RV. But what the heck, I'll do it. So you don't think I'm hiding anything. Anyway, so yeah, see, those are mattresses that are in our camper. But yeah, so we renovated this guest house, and this is where friends and family stay, because the house only has 1 bedroom. So again, to give you an idea of the potential when you see one of these little structures. Here you had the false ceiling, and that's why you had that writing, so all this was covered. But we wanted to expose everything, and the house turned out the same. So if you're curious, that's kind of what the house looks like. But you know what? See, also another thing I did not appreciate, but I absolutely love right now, these huge windows. Look at this. These are not original. We put these in, but the size is original. And so if you want to do something similar, like double pane, something to keep in mind is that the older windows may or may not be the same size. So if you're going to do a renovation of an older house, keep in mind that the windows may not be the same size. And if you're thinking, oh, I'll get to the windows later, then that might be additional major reconstruction. So if you can, just do it at the same time. But just absolutely love these windows. Really, really nice, big. Let me see if it's open from here. Ooh, it's locked. Well, we'll come around this way. Another thing, so we did have, again, this is another spot where too much water was gushing down. It's over here. And so I would recommend that if you're looking at a house, if you still have time, when it's raining really, really hard, go check it out. Because then you see other issues that you just do not see. But right here, another thing is this really nice carport, right? Normally this is a separate expense. And a really nice carport, all metal. It needs to be repainted, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. A really nice, strong carport. However, because we extended, this right here is the pantry that we added to the house. It's kind of like a walk-in pantry slash an area, like an annex to put other stuff in there, like a rice cooker and stuff like that. So really beautiful addition, great addition to the house. But it took up some space of this carport. But these little cars that you buy in Japan, this one kind of halfway fits. I could go in more, but right here is eventually I'm going to get around to making an outdoor kitchen. That's one of the projects coming up soon. And then, but what came in really handy to have a wood storage place for the fireplace. And hopefully the house is not a mess. Just a quick peek. Yeah, it's messy. But yeah, that's kind of sort of what it looks like. You get the idea. Again, if you're interested in a more comprehensive process and everything, please check out some of the other videos. And yes, we did add a wood burning fireplace, obviously. That's the reason for all that wood that we have out there. And nice, but also a curse, is having, let's say, all this land. This is like 3/4 of an acre. And guess what comes along with that? A lot of work. Here oh, this tree is starting to smell. Oh God, I can't remember the name. But really, really beautiful smell. It'll come to me in a minute. And my wife just absolutely loves the smell, and this is the season. Something that Japanese houses do not have is laundry rooms, and they air dry their clothes. So talking about the drainage, still good and bad that we have this. However, weeds, I need to get to that. We do have some cracks right there. Oh, before I forget, so down by the garage there was a little solar panel, but when we bought this house, there was no electricity, but I could hear a motor running down in one of these vents. And what it was is that there was a solar panel running under the house mortar or the air ventilation, which prevented, I would like to think, termites, because we had no termites when we did this renovation. So if you have something like that, that's a huge plus. And then, so yeah, our property extends all the way up to the kind of that pole over there. Yeah, so this is pretty much it. This little figure to let you know some of the pros and cons and things that you should look for. Yeah, there's the con right there. At least this was paved, but it's old, so we need to get to doing that. So that's an additional cost that you may not realize. But again, it's up to you how you want to do it. Do you want to start from scratch or have something that's already been established and work with it? I personally love taking something old, used, and repurposing it and making it better, or just giving it a second chance of life. That's why, to me, it was so appealing to get a house, especially out here in the countryside. I mean, prices very enticing as well. So yeah, all right folks, I need to get to planting some cilantro, working on my garden, and still keep on working on my mess here. But hopefully this gave you a couple of little pointers on what you should look for. All right, have a great day. Bye.